and find a comfortable seat and feel your way into a grounded posture. So whatever that means for you, see if you can just drop your body awareness down toward your pelvis and settle yourself well. So kind of sense, do you need to roll back or roll forward, or do you tend to lean into one side or the other? Are your legs always crossed the exact same way? Perhaps you can change the cross of your legs and try something a little different. And just pay attention to the seat that you have and let it be a grounding force for you. A lot of times we just plop ourselves down and don't necessarily pay attention to the posture itself. So notice how it feels to be grounded and connected to the earth below you. Even though you're probably not sitting on the ground itself. I don't think anybody's outside sitting on the earth, but it's below you. So just sense into the roots that can come. And when you allow for the groundedness to happen, there's something to rise from. It's that root to rise, that sense of yield and stretch that can come from the yielding. So let the roots of your legs and pelvis grounding give you something to help you rise up and feel the good posture in your spine. Try to create only the tension that's necessary. So, of course, some muscles in your back will be working and your core, but anywhere that doesn't have to support you in this, see if you can melt a little bit more. So perhaps your shoulders can relax a bit more, or your arms or your hands. Maybe you can align your skull, your head a little bit better so that there's a nice sense of balance through your crown to your tail. And then once you have the sense of posture, very supportive and aligned, let your body be breathed. So with the structure that you're creating, fill all the crevices with some good oxygenation. Relax your breathing apparatus enough, all those muscles and your ribs and your diaphragm. See what you can do to give way and receive your breath. Notice the pacing of your breath. See if you can just ever so slightly drop the speed down just a notch, getting a little longer, a little slower. Breathing through your nose, sensing into the sound that the breath makes. Notice if you're starting to feel calmer in your mind and in your body. With just a few moments of paying attention to posture and breath and how this is so supportive for our well-being. And maybe you're noticing that you're not so steady yet, and just let your practice unfold. Let your practice do the magic that it does to bring us present and grounded. And let's bring our hands now to our heart and set an intention here. What is it that you're cultivating? What is it that you need support in? Release your hands and let's find our way onto our back. So, as always, find some space on the ground, stretch your limbs out really wide, and Give yourself an opportunity to just feel what it feels like to lie down. Maybe it's been a few hours since you've been in bed, so you get an opportunity to feel your body get horizontal one more time. And reach your arms overhead and find some good stretching, maybe lengthening through your right side and lengthening through your right side, and just enjoying some opening and waking through your body. All right, and then bring your knees into your chest and let's rock a little bit here, swaying from side to side, enjoying that compression of your knees toward your chest, opening up your back. All right, hang on to your knees and let's do some circling here, kind of rolling a few circles one way and a few circles another way. All right, and then let's open up our knees away from the middle and bring them back in and just feel how your hips are doing today. Is there symmetry here or is there not symmetry here? There's no judgment about what our body's doing or feeling today, but just paying attention and noticing. Okay. All right, and then right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's roll around in our ankles and wiggle through our feet and enjoy our bare feet. And give a nice good squeeze of that knee, and then interlace your hands behind your hamstring. Press your hamstring into your hands a little bit so you open up that hip joint. And now let's flex and point our foot up in the air. So just kind of having a little bit more concentrated movement of our calf muscles and our shin muscles, feeling the sole of your foot and the top of your foot. Maybe a little bit of circling of your ankle here. All right, and then be still in your foot and ground your femur bone. Feel the length of your spine. And then draw that knee back in. And we're going to open our knee out to the right with our knee bent. So just kind of getting into that range of motion of some abduction of our hip. And then cross the knee over past the midline and come to a twist. Any variation on this that feels good. You can go deeper or less deep. You can move your arm around, whatever feels nice to kind of wake up a twist in the body. All right, and then release that and stretch your limbs wide open to a star. Let's roll around in our wrists now. Maybe you wiggle through your fingers, opening and closing your fists, whatever kind of movement in your hands. Your feet might be doing it too. That's good. And then draw your knees into your chest. Pick up your head and have a nice little squeeze. Left knee into your chest, right leg long on the ground. Give it a nice snug hug. Move about in your feet again if you'd like, wiggling your toes, rolling around in your ankles. All right. And when you're ready, interlace your hands the opposite way. So take your fingers weirdly. All right. Place them into your hamstrings. Press your hamstrings into your palms. And while your leg is up there, let's flex and point our toes. So we can get a nice good movement in our calf muscles. You can feel a stretch in the top of your feet, in the front of your shin, whatever feels good, and maybe do some little ankle movements here, some rolls. All right, and then be still with your foot and root your femur down like a stake moving into the earth. Femur bone into your hands, lengthen your spine. All right, and then bend your knee, grab onto it, a little twist here, twisting to the right with that knee, breathing well. Enjoy a little movement of your arm and your chest and on that left side if you'd like. Just kind of find what feels like a nice, beautiful awakening in the body. And then bring that knee back in and open it out to the left a little bit. Ground through your right side. So just feeling that abduction of your hip joint. All right, and then stretch both limbs out again. A big giant star. Exhale, knees into your chest. Put your head down, grab onto your feet, a little bit of a happy baby. And maybe you'd rock a little bit. Maybe you want to swing to one side and straighten
one of your legs as you drop over to that side. So just kind of find some movement or some stillness, and explore. Do I want my legs to open a little bit more? Do I really want to focus on my low back? Kind of just check in with your body and sense what's happening. And then a big star again, reaching your limbs really wide, roll your wrists and ankles, and then knees into your chest, come rolling over to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. Let's be so thankful for the movement of our body. Okay, all fours start to move through some cat cows. We're arching our back and we're rounding our spine. Start to connect your breath with your movements. Linking things up is a great way to really bring your mind and your body into the present moment. And then move around in your spine any way you want. You can wag your tail, you can do some circles, move around in your ribs. Find your breathing. And then stretch back towards child's pose. Walk the hips back, walk the hands forward. Stretch open through your ribs, stretch open through your spine. Take some breaths. And walk your hands to one side or the other. So we're reaching our arms over to one side so we stretch the rib cage and feel a side body awakening. Full deep breaths. Come back to center and lengthen again, reaching your hips back down. Palm opening up wide, ground yourself. Full breaths here. All right, coming back to center, up onto all fours again. And let's find a twist, reaching your arm up in the air. Exhale, slide that arm underneath, twisting to the side. Breathing deeply. Enjoy the ribs, enjoy the spine. Maybe you can feel this all the way down into your hips. Make sure your neck and head are nice and relaxed. And then inhale, bring that arm all the way back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm lifting up. Exhale, slide that arm underneath. Twisting to the side. Breathing deeply. How's your body starting to feel? And then reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground, and let's lift up into a dog pose. So as you find your way up off the ground, enjoy what it feels like to take some time to feel your hands and your feet. Ground where you're touching the earth. Just like we were feeling that grounding when we were sitting through our pelvis and our legs, let's now find it in our hands and our feet. Give way to the yield. Relax into the earth. And then push off the earth to feel that rebound of extension and space in your body. All right, so notice the bottom of your feet. Notice the palms of your hands. Pay attention to how you are touching the earth. All right, maybe you want to pedal your feet and wake up those legs even more. So nice to get the ankles moving, to get the calves stretching. There's so much good that happens from moving our calves and our ankles. Our lymph moves really well. And we get a lot of balance support by keeping limber and strong in this area of our body. All right, extend again, reaching the arms, reaching the legs, finding your breath, and then walk your feet forward and come to Uttanasana. A forward fold, melt deeply, relax your skull, shimmy your hips a little bit, spread open the bones of your feet. Inhale for a halfway lift, extending your spine, femur bones up and back. Open up the soles of the feet, hard extending forward. And then exhale and melt again. Let's try that one more time. A halfway lift, getting expansive. And then exhale, relaxing down. Relax the skull, push through your feet. Inhale, come on up. Rising up, reaching the arms to the sky, feeling extension and space open up through your heart. Let's cactus open the chest, give a good squeeze back there if it feels good. And then exhale and round in, forearms to touch. Rise up again. Take your arms straight out to the sides. Press through your palms. Wake up your arms and your hands. Let's do some backwards circles here. Just get some of those nerves in your arms to wake up. Get enlivened. And then big arm swings. Okay. Big breaths. All right, and then let's reach up to the top again. A little bit of a back bend if it feels good. And then a fold forward. Relax your skull, let your neck dangle. Inhale for a halfway lift again. Melt to fold. Step back to a dog pose. Enjoy all the space in your body. Notice yourself warming up and feeling a little more free. How's your breath? Can you link your breaths to your movements? Feel the rising tide of what the inhale gives your body. Feel what the exhale gives your body. Come forward into a plank. Shoulders away from the ears. Root down through the index finger mounds. Push the ground away nice and strong. Breathing deeply. And then we'll put our knees down onto the ground and find the ground. Let's roll the shoulders a few times. Stay nice and open, gliding. Inhale for a cobra pose. The chest is free. Exhale. Melt back down. One more time. Opening up through the body. Exhale to release. Come up onto your hands and your knees and let's move around in the spine again. Maybe some circles, maybe some wiggles. What feels good. And then back to a child's pose. And when you come back to this child's pose, notice your body, notice your mind, notice your breath. What's changing? What is happening through the movement practices of your body? This mobility that we gain, this flexibility that we gain from our yoga practice is so good. It's so supportive for our well-being. Let's come back up. We'll bring our right foot in front, left foot in back. Let's open up that hip flexor. Back knee stays on the ground for just a moment. And just feel into that good stretch of the hip flexors on that leg. Lifting the heart. All right, and then we'll press down through the front foot. Curl your back toe under and lift your knee off the ground. And let's start moving here. Stretching open our hamstrings as we straighten our leg. Stretching open our hip flexors as we bend that knee and lift the heart. Breathing deeply. Great place to link up breath with movement and return to that deep sense of presence. Ground yourself. Inhale, rise up to a crescent lunge, lengthening the arms upward, feeling the heart lift. Root into your feet. Your back knee can bend a little bit if that feels better on your knee joints. Release your hands back down. Foot comes forward, forward fold. A halfway lift, extending through the spine again. Melting to relax back down. Let's stand up, push through your feet, rising upward, and then trace down through the center. All the way back down to hands on the blocks. Let's keep our left foot in front and take our right foot behind and place your knee down. And just enjoy opening up the hip flexor on this right leg. Breathe well. You can come up as high as you want with your chest, your upper body. All right, let's lift your knee off the ground and find your lunge. Okay. Hands can be on the ground or on blocks at any height. And let's begin to bend and straighten your front knee. Enjoy what you're feeling in your legs and your hips, but also enjoy what you're feeling in your breath. Yourself, feel the roots of your legs drop down and rise up, bringing the arms to the sky. Feel that openness through your chest, reaching your ribs off your hips, grounding your legs. Maybe your back knee needs to soften a bit. Find your breath, press into your front foot, use your glutes and your legs to support you. We'll release our hands down onto the ground, back to a dog pose. Feel that big openness in the body, push through the ground. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Shoulders away from the ears, feel the roots of your index finger mounds. Use your core to support you. Full breaths here. All right, and we'll put our knees down onto the ground. Find the earth one more time. Maybe a cobra, maybe a different pose is calling out to you. And then melt to come back down. Okay, come up onto your hands and your knees, and we're gonna roll over onto our right side. So finding your way to a straight line, have your arm underneath your hand. You can always use a block underneath your head if you need to. Okay, but we're finding a straight line through our body. Put your hand on your hip for a moment, and we're gonna lift our side waist off the ground. So for those of you have described it as a mouse hole before, so that, imagine a drawstring at your waist that you're drawing in. So we're engaging the transverse abdominis and those obliques, and then relax them. And do this with a straight line instead of our knees bent. Keep your body on one solid line. And see if you can coordinate your breath with this movement now, where we're going to exhale to engage and inhale to release. So you might feel the desire to do the opposite. You might want to suck your breath in to lift your side waist up, but try to do it on your exhale. On your inhale, release back down. Starting to wake up that side body. All right, now engage your core fully. Reach your arm up in the air. Stabilize your leg on the ground so that right leg is rooting deeply into the earth. Lift your left leg up so both legs are working. Keep your neck relaxed. Let it rest on your hand. Open your chest. Engage your side waist. Press your legs. Finding breath. Still stacking. Everything's stacked on one line. And then relax and melt to come back. All right, let's roll to the other side, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're on our left now. We're stacking everything up. Our arm, our torso, and our leg all on one straight line. You can always support with a block under your head if that's more comfortable for you. Let's start with our hand on our hip. And first, just start with the core of your body. As you inhale, relax your side waist toward the ground. And as you exhale, engage, draw the drawstring in, lift your mouse hole up, or create a mouse hole. Big breath, relax.
Exhale, engage, like drawing a drawstring of a pair of pants. Right at your navel, that's, just the middle of your waist, drawing in toward the center and releasing. So we might feel like it's one-sided because we're trying to lift that side waist off the ground, but really both sides of our body are going to be engaging. All right, now see what you can do to have a little bit of stabilization through this core. Reach your arm in the air, keep your body stacked, and we're going to lift our leg up. Press your left leg into the ground as much as you're lifting your right leg up in the air. Keep yourself stacked instead of rolling back or forward. Breathing deeply. So engaging your hips at the same time as engaging your core. Lots of breath. And then relax and melt to come back down. Let's come onto our back. Okay. Grab a block and we're going to bring the block over our head, in between our hands and right over our chest actually. All right, so legs are going to be straight out. And let's practice the arm version of this first, and then we're going to add some legs to it. So we're going to, palms are on the short edges of the block, so we're holding the widest width of the block. And we're just going to reach our arms overhead as we stabilize our rib cage down, and then lift your arms back up. So a little gentle press into the block so that we're kind of just using a lot of stabilization muscles in our body. And then keep the arms straight up over your chest, bend your knees. Now, you can do this a few different ways. You can kind of check in with your back and make sure that everything's feeling good and safe when you do this. Okay, so the easiest way, I'll give you options. The easiest way is to keep your feet on the ground and just stabilize your core as you continue to lift your block overhead and back. If you can do a little bit more, then bring your knees up over your hips and feet are off the ground. And we're going to straighten our legs out, don't touch the ground, and then back to that neutral territory. Moving our arms and legs straight, and then block over chest and knees back in. All right, so that's another option. And if you're like, oh, that's a little hard for me, then what you can do, there's always ways to modify. So you can put your left foot on the floor, straighten it, maybe I should show you this from the side. You can keep your left foot on the floor and bend your right knee and just do a one-legged posture like this. I'm a little stuck because of my couch, but you get the idea. And you can do, you can do alternating, or you can do a handful on one side and then a handful on the other side. So there's always ways to modify what you're doing so that whatever you're attempting to engage in your core, your back isn't taking the brunt of what you're doing. All right, so let's do 10. Okay, so if you're doing one-legged, you can do 5 to each side. You can always take breaks. I'm not going to count for you, you count for you. Okay, so breathing as you go. Try not to go too fast so that you get a sense of stabilizing as you go. You can always pause halfway. I like to inhale as I bring my arms and legs out, and then exhale as I draw them back in. Maybe you prefer a different path of your breath. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. And so when you feel like you've finished 10, go ahead and rest here for a moment. Put your feet on the ground. We're going to grab this block and put it under our pelvis for a supported bridge pose. Climb onto the tops of your shoulders. See what it might feel like to stretch your legs straight. You can even bring your arms overhead and just feel that full length, or you can keep your arms down at your sides. Again, instead of both legs straight at the same time, heels on the floor, maybe you want one leg bent and one leg straight
for a couple breaths and then switch. Just opening up your belly, opening up your breathing. Okay, and then put your feet back down onto the ground, lift your hips and relax. Okay, let's windshield wiper our knees left and right. Just nice and gentle. You can turn your head in opposition of your knees. Breathing deeply. All right. And then one more core thing before we get up to do some standing poses. We're going to have our arms down at our sides. Now, if you know that your neck gets a little tweaky from a lift, you can always put your hands under your head and rest your head on your hands. We're not yanking our hands. We're just resting our head. But if you can do it with no hands on the base of your skull, then try this way. So either way works for you. We're going to lift our shoulder blades a little bit off the ground so the bottom tips are still there. And we're going to reach our left hand toward our left foot and back to center. And reach our right toward our right foot. And just go back and forth. Just engaging those obliques on the side. You can always put a block between your thighs if you feel like that helps you stabilize. You can hold the back of your head and do the same action if you feel like your neck is taking some tension. All right, so just breathe. I like to exhale as I compress, inhale as I come up. The only important thing is that you are not holding your breath. All right, and then rest your head back down. Let's stretch open to a star, reaching your limbs. Exhale, knees into your chest, a little bit of rocking. Okay. And then we'll roll over onto our side and come to our hands and our knees again. All right, so move your spine, wag your tail, okay? And maybe drop your hips way over to one side, drop your hips way over to another side. Curl the toes under and find your way to a dog pose. Find that full extension in your body here. Walk your feet forward and come to Uttanasana. Open up your back. Inhale for a halfway lift, extending your spine, melting to fold. Push through your feet, rising up. Trace down through the center. Pause here for a moment. Ground your feet. Open up your chest. And then we're going to turn sideways on our mat for some wide legs. Okay, let's open up those inner thighs. Just stretch your elbows into your knees. Drop down into a deep squat. Press the four corners of your feet down. Feel your breathing. Feel your yielding. And come all the way up to stand. All right, we're going to turn our feet out to the right. We're going to just do, I always like to think of them as the bread and butter of the standing poses. We'll do all three, the trifecta, right? So let's start in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Feel free to mobilize a little in here. If you like to, kind of find your way gently into the bent knee, that's great. But eventually we'll find our way. And you can always put your hands on your hips or your hands to your heart if you need some soothing, okay? Or if your shoulders are bothersome, press into your feet well, find your grounding. Root down to lift through your spine. Think of that first initial seated posture where we had ground to lift our spine. Breathing well. Notice both legs. Notice your heart to your hands. Feel the upright spine and the crown over your tail. Keep your legs bent. reach into a reverse warrior just to open that side body, and then come into Parsva Konasana and open up through the rim of your body. Where do you feel this? Where is your grounding? Do you have equal weight in your feet? Is there an openness through your side ribs on both sides? Try not to, crunch over on one side. Press into your feet to open up your hips. Relax to the base of your skull. Just check in with your whole body here. Is there anywhere that needs to align better, or to feel more engaged, or to relax? And stand straight up again, legs straightens, reverse your triangle pose, and then find triangle pose. You can use a block if you'd like. Open up your side ribs again and feel that grounding of your feet. Find your breath. Try to stack your shoulders and ribs. Maybe even able to stack your hips. Just notice the grounding of your feet, root through both of them well. Just through your feet to come all the way back to standing. Okay, we'll repeat those same poses on this side. Okay, so if you know that you need a little bit of movement to kind of get your hip and knee to find its way, you do you to find your way into Virabhadrasana. If you can reach your arms out, great. Drop your shoulders and open the heart. Stretch heart to hands all the way to your fingers. Press into your feet well and find your ground. Breathing deeply, breathing fully. Enjoy the effort of the pose. Enjoy the strength of your legs. Let your breath get deep. Relax something. Maybe your neck can soften. We can reverse that warrior to open up our ribs. Take a breath in that open rib space, and then place your elbow on your knee or your hand on the block. Parsva Konasana. Find both legs. It's easy to kind of lean into this front leg. Find your back leg. Find that long line from hand to foot. Release the shoulder blades down the back. Allow the left femur bone to deepen into the hip socket so the side bodies can lengthen. Reclaim the feet on the earth. Relax your left palm. Relax the base of your skull. Straighten the leg and reverse our warrior or our triangle pose, and then find your way into a full triangle pose. Reach that arm, bring your hand to rest on your block or your leg, and open up. Grounding your feet, nestle that femur bone into the hip joint, lengthen your spine and your rib cage. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Feel the heart expand to your hands. How long can you get your spine? If your neck bothers you, turn your head down or forward instead of up. How's the fullness of your breath? If you tend to over lean into those hamstrings, press your foot down a little bit more. Inhale and come back up. Wide legs. Come forward, hands come down onto the ground or onto blocks. You can take dog pose arms or hands underneath you, whichever feels good, but we're opening up our back here. We're opening up our hamstrings, our hips. Let your neck be at ease. And then let's heel toe your feet in. All the way in till you get to an Uttanasana. Bend your knees and inhale to come all the way up to stand. Let's practice a little balance. So standing on our right foot, we're gonna tip our teapot over to the left. Or sorry, over to the right. We're standing on our right foot. Turn your left toes forward, engage your core. We did this on the floor, find it again. And then come back, have a moment in a chair, compress, and then hop up onto the left. Right leg in the air, ground your left leg. Start to wake up all those balancing muscles in your feet. Open up, right toes pointing forward. Lots of core to help your hips. Back to center one more time, a chair. Feel that compression, hands to your heart, just kind of sink in. Let your hips relax here in this pose. And then inhale, come up onto your toes. Again, practicing a little bit of balance. Center your gaze. And then feet coming back down. And just stand in Tadasana for a moment and notice how strong you are. Let your legs ground into the earth again. Finding a full breath. All right, we're going to take Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Now we haven't, if you'd like to move into Chapasana, where we bind, we grab our foot, let's all just practice a little quad stretch here, and maybe practice balance while you're doing it. You can always hold the wall or something, but just in case you want to go into Chapasana, let's open up our quads a little bit here. Descend your tail, maybe your arm wants to come up, maybe your arm wants to come out, just kind of find what helps your balance. Try not to stick your hip out. Keep drawing that right hip in. Try not to let your left knee go out. Draw it down. Open the heart. All right, and then we'll put that foot down onto the ground and switch sides. If you can't grab your foot, you can always wrap a strap around your ankle as well. If you need support, grab onto a piece of furniture or a wall. Again, try not to stick the hip out. See if you can keep the hip and the knee in. Lift up, maybe your arm comes up. Maybe balance is better with your arm out to the side or holding onto your hip. So just find where you want to be. With the pelvis, lift your pubic bone, drop the tail. Unlock your standing knee, so we're not pushing that knee back. We're relying on our balance through our foot and our core, not just locking out our joints. Relax that foot onto the ground. So now your quads are ready. If you would like to move into a Chapasana from Ardha Chandrasana, and I'll walk you through that as we go. You don't have to do that. That's kind of like an advanced balance posture. So you do you. You can always do this pose with your back against a wall or your foot on a wall. There's lots of ways to support yourself if balance is a little tricky for you. So we're going to start with our right foot. Turn it toward the short edge of your mat. Find your breath. And we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Make sure your foot didn't move. Your head can turn down toward the ground or forward or up, whatever gives you best balance. Mouse holes, drawstrings on your waist. Use your hips. So lots of core and hips to support this pose. Open your chest to your hands. Unlock your standing knee. Lift your left leg just another couple of inches. If you want to do Chapasana, bend your knee and grab onto that ankle and come into Chapasana. If that's not available for you, stay in Ardha Chandrasana. Unlock your standing knee. All right, and then we'll unbind if we bound our leg, and then come back out of the pose. All right, so
If balance is tricky for you, again, try to find support. A wall to lean your whole back against and your leg against can be a nice way of doing this pose. Just see what you need. Okay, so now we're going to turn our left foot out. Our left foot is pointing straight, and we're going to make sure that when we stand up, we're not going to let our foot turn in or out. We're going to keep that neutral territory. Bend your knee, come on up, hand on the block. The other thing that can help with balance is instead of having the block right at your foot, bring it further out toward the pinky toe side of your foot. Again, your eyes have a lot to do with your balance. So you can look down, you can look forward, or more challenging, you can look up. Tail long, all the way to your foot, stretch your tail. Lift that leg in the air. Unlock your standing knee. Engage your mouse strings. Open your heart to your hands. Those drawstrings on our waist are very active in this pose, as are our hips. Fill your breath and empty it. Try not to hold the breath. If you'd like to try Chapasana, grab onto your foot. All right, and if you're in Chapasana, we're not overarching our back here, so draw your ribs in, tailbone toward your knee in the air. Find your breath. Keep checking in with that standing knee. And then we'll unwind the posture, reach that leg, and then come out of the pose. And one more time, standing in Tadasana. Okay. Maybe you'd like to put a block between your thighs for a chair pose. And when we do this, lean forward just a little bit first. Put your hands on your knees, let your back open, and then see what it feels like to maybe put your hands to your heart, maybe reach them up. Hug the block. Lift our legs straight. Separate our legs. Wide stance to turn sideways on your mat. Wide legs and come down one more time for Pasrita. You can put your hands in between your legs, dog pose, arms, hands on ankles. Just find what feels good. I have my head resting on a block. You can go all the way to the ground. Whatever, if your head can dangle, whatever feels nice. Turn back to the front of your mat. Last dog pose. Okay. Just enjoy the space here. Breathing deeply. And then find a child's pose. All right, so relax your hips, maybe a little rocking left and right. Maybe stillness, just see what your body likes. Come up and sit on the edge of a blanket. Now, if you can't do this version, you can always straighten your leg, but let's see what it feels like to take your left foot next to your right hip and your right foot next to your left knee. Okay, so if this twist is not available because of hips or knees, or you feel like you're toppling or you just can't get there, that's totally fine. We'll just straighten this bottom leg out instead of tucking it next to your hip. The added bonus of tucking it next to your hip just gives you a little bit of a hip stretch along with the twist. All right, so lift up through your spine. Make sure you're not listing over to one side. Hand behind your back. You can hold your hand on your knee, left hand on your right knee. You can hook your forearm, or you can put your elbow to the outer knee. Always, always with our twists, we're not using the leverage of our bones to twist, but we're using the support of our breath and the engagement of our core. Maybe turn your head all the way one direction, or maybe turn your head all the way back to the front. Your choice of how to release your neck. Find your breath. The hand behind you is keeping you upright.
And come back to center. Let's pull the foot out a little bit. So we're gonna do, try to, we're stacking our knees as best as you can. They may not stack, and we're having our feet on one plane, left and right, as best as you can. And then lift up through your spine and lean forward. It's a big hip stretch. So if you need a variation, you can always, do a kind of like a modified reverse pigeon where you put your foot on the ground and lean back on your hands. This is a good plan B, with your foot on your knee instead of stacking. Come out of that pose, straighten your legs for a moment, and then we'll come to the second side. Okay, so we're gonna, if you're doing this variation, we're gonna put our right foot next to our left hip and our left foot next to our right knee. Perhaps your leg is straight underneath you instead of tucked. Make sure you're not leaning over to the side. Lift up through your spine. Decide whether you want to use your hand, your forearm, or your elbow for the twist. Hand behind you supports that lifting of the spine. Twisting, turning your spine, and then decide which way you'd like to turn your head. You can turn your head all the way with the twist, including your eyes, or you can turn your head all the way back and try to look at your foot on the ground, your left foot on the ground. Find your breath. The breath guides the movement. Out of there, back to center, stack your knees, put your foot on a plane, or come back and do a modified reverse pigeon pose. Lift up through your spine. Maybe you lean forward, maybe you lean backward. Just kind of find what's available in your hips. If you find yourself leaning far to one side, make some adjustments. Okay, breathing deeply. Oh, there's a big stretch, a big fascial stretch in your hips, so just take it easy, gentle. Come out of there, straighten your legs, take them a little wider than your hips, and then just roll your legs all the way up to your thighs, roll them in and out, roll them out. Put that blanket, come onto your back, grab your block. We'll put a block under our pelvis. Stabilize your pelvis on a low height of the block. If you'd like to stretch your legs straight, you can do that. If you'd like to lift your legs straight up in the air, or knees to your chest, or feet on the ground. So many variations to take. Just see what is the best for your body in this moment. And so no matter what you're doing, our pelvis is neutral. We're not doing one-legged poses. Okay, so try to keep your pelvis symmetrical, left to right. Breathing deeply. It's all meet with our knees toward our chest, just kind of creating a little bit of traction for your back. You can have a moment with your legs straight up if you prefer, but just kind of let the pelvis neutralize and you let your low back soften. And so either knees in or legs up. You can even do a happy baby pose like this if you like. Just kind of find what your body needs. And then as we move into Shavasana, maybe you'd like your legs up on something, maybe you'd like to do leg up the wall, or put your calves up on a chair or a couch, or a bolster underneath your knees, or maybe you'd like to just lie flat. Okay, so just discover what you'd like your Shavasana to be. And just allow your body to breathe. Enjoy the melting toward the floor. Enjoy a big stretch or a small little movement or a big breath or anything that helps you transition your way out of Shavasana. Be gentle with yourself and take your time. Anything that your body needs as you transition.
You come onto your side, rest there for a moment, take your time so that you can gather yourself. When you come up to sit, take a moment to find a comfortable seat. When you're ready, let's bring our hands to our heart and find your breath again. And as you just put these daily doses of credit into your bank account by taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. Let's offer this nourishment that we've gained ourselves, and let's offer it outward. May all beings everywhere be healthy, happy, and free. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a